All right, let's dive into a high-stakes military standoff that's unfolding right now in the Middle East. It's a story packed with incredible power, some really bold claims, and a whole nation holding its breath.
So, picture this. A country's supreme leader has completely vanished from public view. He's not just on vacation. He's taken refuge in a secret, fortified bunker deep underground.
So why? What could possibly make a leader go into hiding like that? Well, the reason is a 100,000-ton symbol of American military might that's just parked itself right over the horizon. What we're really looking at is a clash between one of the most powerful warships in the world and a country that says it has the perfect weapon to sink it.
Okay, so here's the scene. Tensions are absolutely skyrocketing as the USS Abraham Lincoln Carrier Strike Group sails into the U.S. Central Command's area of operations. Its arrival in the Indian Ocean means this massive naval force is now well within striking distance of Iran.
And make no mistake, this isn't just one ship. We're talking about a floating fortress. The Lincoln itself is a nuclear-powered supercarrier, and it's surrounded by guided missile destroyers. On board, you have a crew of about 5,000 people, and its air wing is loaded with the latest F-35C stealth fighters and even specialized jets designed for electronic warfare. It is an absolutely overwhelming amount of firepower in one place. So how does Iran react to this? Well, their 86-year-old supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, reportedly moves into a hardened underground bunker network. He's even handed over the day-to-day running of the country to his son, which tells you just how seriously Tehran is taking the threat of a potential American strike. And the words match the actions. Iran's president has made it crystal clear. Any attack on the supreme leader is an attack on the entire nation. This is their ultimate red line, and it really sets the stage for a dangerous, dangerous showdown. But here's the twist. Iran isn't just playing defense. They've pulled the curtain back on what they claim is a total game-changing weapon, one designed specifically to take that American naval threat off the board. They're calling it the Fatah II. It's a hypersonic glide vehicle, an HGV. So here's how this thing is supposed to work. It launches up on a rocket, but then it breaks away and glides through the upper atmosphere. The key, the thing that makes it so dangerous, is its ability to maneuver unpredictably in mid-flight. That makes it incredibly difficult for any defense system to figure out where it's going and plot a way to intercept it. Now, what's really wild here is the sheer speed. Iran claims the Fatah II can hit Mach 15. That's 15 times the speed of sound. Just to put that into perspective, as you can see here, it's more than 7 times faster than a bullet fired from a rifle. A speed like that is a massive challenge for even the most sophisticated defensive tech out there. And you better believe Iran's leadership is confident. The commander of their aerospace force came right out and said this missile is basically invincible, that it can bypass any and all current defense systems. It's a massive claim, and it's meant to send a very powerful message. Okay, but is a U.S. aircraft carrier really that vulnerable? Is it a sitting duck? To figure that out, we've got to flip the coin and look at its defenses, because a modern carrier strike group is protected by one of the most complex, most sophisticated defense networks ever created. It's all about layers, like peeling an onion. Far, far out, the escort destroyers are the first line, looking for threats hundreds of miles away. If something gets past them, the next layer kicks in. Evolve Sea Sparrow missiles, creating a 30-mile defensive bubble. If the threat is still coming, the rolling airframe missiles take their shot at short range. And if an attacker somehow, miraculously, gets through all of that, well, there's one last brutal line of defense waiting. And that last line is this, the Phalanx CIWS. This thing is a beast. It's a radar-guided Gatling gun that basically throws up a solid wall of tungsten rounds, firing at an insane 4,500 rounds per minute. Its only job is to physically shred anything that gets too close. So here we are. We've got an unbeatable missile versus an impenetrable shield. So what's the truth? Which one is it? Let's try and separate the propaganda from the reality here. Well, analysts are pointing out some pretty big vulnerabilities. First, that plasma stealth idea, the bubble of superheated air that forms around it at hypersonic speeds. Yeah, it might disrupt radar for a bit, but it does not make the missile invisible. And maybe more importantly, the missile's brain, its guidance system, is extremely vulnerable to powerful jamming systems like the ones on the Lincoln. They could potentially just scramble its signal and make it miss entirely. And beyond the tech, there are huge strategic problems for Iran. To hit a moving aircraft carrier, you need perfect real-time satellite targeting. Iran just doesn't have that. A single missile has a tiny chance of success. They'd need to launch a massive saturation swarm to have any hope of overwhelming the carrier's defenses. Add to that an aging Air Force, a leadership vacuum from recent strikes, and crippled missile production, and the picture gets a lot more complicated for Iran. Having a weapon is one thing, being able to use it effectively is a whole different ballgame. And you gotta remember, none of this is happening in a vacuum. Recent reports suggest Iran's military has suffered some devastating blows, like the destruction of a key factory for missile fuel and the loss of a huge part of its ballistic missile arsenal. Even their advanced S-300 air defense systems have been taken out. Which brings us right back to the beginning. With intelligence suggesting the Iranian regime is in its most vulnerable spot in decades, you have to ask yourself, is this aggressive posturing, this showing off a new missile, a genuine sign of strength? Or is it a calculated, desperate bluff from a leadership that's feeling immense pressure?
The USS Abraham Lincoln is sitting there in striking range, a clear symbol of American power. Iran is firing back, not with missiles yet, but with the Fatah II, a symbol of its own technological ambition and defiance. The stakes here could not be higher, with a potential conflict threatening global oil and vital shipping lanes. So it leaves us with one final question. Are we witnessing a masterclass in deterrence, a high-stakes game of deception, or are we hearing the final drumbeat of war?